Do you find it hard to follow personal development advice because it seems designed for a perfect robot, not a real human? Me too. I'm Monica Packer, and I host the podcast About Progress, where we explore doable but still dramatic personal growth. It's progress made practical. Listen to About Progress wherever you get your podcasts.
I think that you guys have always encouraged reading, so I think that's how I got into it. Then we used to go to the library a lot, and I really liked finding books on my own there. And now I feel like I'm at the age where I can get recommendations from mom.
So in our family, we have always encouraged reading. We obviously love books.
Yes.
And we love to talk about it. And yeah, just read. That's what I would say. Read, get your kids to read in whatever way, shape, or form you can. Make it fun, make it a family thing, talk about it. It just opens up a whole other universe to learn about and to discuss. I'm Jessica Valant. I'm a physical therapist, women's health expert, and Pilates teacher, and my goal is to help all women feel strong, safe, and secure in their bodies. In this podcast, I'll share expert advice, facts, amazing guests, stories, compassion, and hope to help you meet your body in all seasons of life. Hi, and welcome back to Meet Your Body, everybody. I'm already laughing because I've already messed up the introduction. I am so excited for today's episode, and I say that all the time. Today, though, truly is my favorite episode that we've ever recorded because I have my favorite person in the world, our daughter, Fiona, here with us today.
Hi.
So we are going to talk about books. We love books. And if you didn't catch last week's episode, I talk all about, that's my annual book recommendation episode. So you can go and check that out. And so that is from my perspective, my favorite books. And today we are talking about preteen and early teen books because Fiona loves to read as much as I love to read.
Yeah.
And we read together and we read separate and we talk about books. And right before this podcast, we went on a walk and we talked about books. And so I thought we should bring Fiona's perspective and opinion to this episode. And we have a full book recommendation list for you for your preteen, early teen girl readers. Yeah?
Yes.
So we'll go through some context first, where we came up with these recommendations. And then Fiona broke it down into sections. So this is really good. So we have 4 different sections, I think, right? 4.
Yeah.
Talking about kind of the earlier reading side and then into more advanced adult theme books that you're reading now. And then at the very end, I will also give you just a couple recommendations for our 8-year-old son and what he reads. He's not with us here today, though. So I'll just tell you a few. All right. So Fiona.
Yes.
Tell everybody whatever you want, either a little bit about yourself or what you like to read or why you think you started liking reading, anything you want.
Well, I think that you guys have always encouraged reading, so I think that's how I got into it. And then we used to go to the library a lot, and I really liked finding books on my own there. And now I feel like I'm at the age where I can get recommendations from mom, and I really like those books because I feel like we have the similar interests in what we like.
Yep. Yeah, and that's a great point. So in our family, we've always encouraged reading. I mean, since you guys were born, we read to you. We have always gone to the library. We all read together. It's really important to us. So it was read aloud for a really long time. We still read aloud to our son. You read on your own, but we sit and read together. So I'll give you a little context too for Fiona, just so you understand our recommendations. So how old are you?
13.
And what grade will you be in?
8th grade.
8th grade. And Fiona definitely reads above grade level. So you're going to get a variety of things from us. And obviously, you're going to put it into whatever your child needs and what they like to read about. And what would you say what themes do you really like in books? So when you are interested in a book, what kind of things is it about?
I really like magic and fantasy, the dystopian themes. And then I definitely like some romance in there too.
So, which if you guys have listened to my individual podcast, you know I like fantasy a lot too. So yes, we have some very similar interests in that way. And so I'm going to give you again a little more context as a mom. So when we kind of choose books together, especially at this point, so the way it started was getting into chapter books first, right? Like away from board books and picture books into those very first chapter books. And then that I felt like was fairly easy at that age, you know, third, fourth grade.
Yeah,
right?
there's
Depending-
definitely like a range of first chapter books depending on the age.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. And then as Fiona got older and got interested in more kind of young adult books, I very much became a part of that. So helping to choose, doing some research, were they appropriate? What were the themes? All of those kind of things. And so I do think that's really important because I will say as a reader, I've been to bookstores and looked at what they call the young adult section. And they are books that I would never let anyone under 18 read because of some of the explicit material in them, because I've read them. So I know them and they're great books, but they're really explicit in many different themes. And I don't consider that young adult. So that's me. So that's just something to throw out there. You really need to be kind of aware of your child and their understanding of things and their maturity level and their reading level, but also because of that, I decided it was important that I knew what was in the book. So for us, basically, the recommendations come from a few places. From our niece, so our cousin.
Yeah.
So she is 19 now, so like 6 years ahead, and I trust them completely. And she's a huge reader. And so along the way, even when you were, 6 or 7, I was asking my sister-in-law, okay, what are you guys reading? What are your recommendations? And she gave us a lot, right? And introduced us to a lot of great books. So that's one place. If you have trusted sources of kids who are a little bit older or ahead of the game, that's a great place. Your teachers. So I remember one of like the selection series, right? One of your teachers recommended that.
One, they didn't recommend it, but like one of my ELA teachers, she had a board on the wall of if you liked Hunger Games, read other books like it. And there was like a bunch of stuff like that.
Yeah. So Fiona came home with a few of those. And I said, okay, if your teacher in middle school has it, I'm going to trust that also. So that was another place. And then it's what I have read personally. Or if Fiona comes and says, my friends are talking about this, I want to read it, then I make myself read it first. I'm going to make sure that either we're reading it together or I've read it first to know what's coming so that we can talk about what's in it together. And I think, at least from a mom perspective, that's been super fun and really important.
Yeah.
I don't know what your
I
perspective is.
really like to talk to you about it.
Yeah. Yeah. We love to talk about books as we're reading them. So those are kind of my recommendations, or at least how we have found books to read together, and then also books on your own to read. And then another piece to it is many of these have movies. You'll hear many of them do. And I remember specifically Hunger Games, which we'll talk about. But you came home in like third grade, right? Because so many of your friends had seen the movie, had seen Hunger Games. It was around third or fourth grade. And
yeah, maybe, yeah.
And I felt like, as someone who's seen it, that felt like a little early for the themes in the Hunger Games to see the movies. But we talked about it and said, these are great books. Let's get to them. And then what, about 2 years later, you read the books first.
Yeah, probably 5th or 6th grade.
Yeah, that you read the books and we read them together. So I reread them with you. And then as a family, we watched the movies after that.
Yeah, those were really good.
Yeah.
We still haven't finished.
No, you're right. We still haven't finished the movies. And that's not for our 8-year-old, I will say. So as a family, I just mean parents and you.
That's why we haven't finished yet, because we have to do it after he is asleep.
That's true, without telling him. So I think that can be like a really good plan too. If you think, okay, these themes are a lot, then do it together, watch the movies after. You can continue to talk about it. But that's how we have done it. Because you love to read so much, we will many times read the books first and then watch the movies after as like an adjunct.
Yeah, there are many books that I really wish had movies to go with them, but it's okay.
Maybe someday.
Yeah.
I actually, before we start, I do have one question. Maybe you can tell everyone, as someone who's a really busy 13-year-old with lots of schoolwork and the sports you play and the activities you do and family time we have, how do you fit in reading time, or when do you typically read? And everybody listening understands she would read all the time probably if she could.
If I have a good book.
Yeah. But yeah, how do you fit in reading time, or when do you like to read?
During the summer, I would say I definitely read a lot more than school year. But so during the school year, I read a lot on the weekends. And during the school days, I pretty much only read at night when I'm going to bed. But on weekends, I read in the morning when I wake up for, depending on what time I wake up.
Yeah.
Like
30 to 60
30
minutes,
to,
probably.
2 hours sometimes. But on the summer, I kind of just fit it in whenever I can. Yeah.
Yep. And so again, as a family, if you're even wondering, how do I encourage reading? If your kids or your grandkids or the kids in your life see you reading, that's probably number one. You need to be a reader, I think, in order to example to your kids that reading is fun and enjoyable. So that's one, they need to see it. And then being willing to talk about it, like talk about the books you're reading. What are the themes? Like we're all always reading different books in our family. So we end up talking about it. And my husband, Fiona's dad, just finished reading Project Hail Mary about a year ago. And so we talked all about it, and we knew the movie was coming. We were so excited, watched the movie together, talked about what made the book and the movie different. So we're just always kind of talking about it, getting in the library together. One thing for us has always been that whereas we say no to buying a lot of things, we don't tend to say no to buying books. Like if the kids want a certain series or want books, we will buy them.
I also think that like finding good book and like a good genre that they like is really important.
Yeah. Because that's true, because you read for school. And so we talked about how Fiona loves fantasy, and just know at school she's getting the important historical books too. I mean, you just read Diary of Anne Frank this year. You read Born a Crime by Trevor Noah.
Oh, that
this
was
year.
good.
Yep.
That was good.
And that's another thing. I get recommendations from her. She came home from school and said, Mom, you need to read the book by Trevor Noah about growing up in apartheid South Africa. And so I got it and I read it from her recommendation. So you are getting those books at school. But she's also come home from school and said, I'm so bored with this one.
Yeah, we read The Adventures of Tom Sawyer.
She didn't like that one so much.
Nope.
But you did it, and you appreciated being able to read it. So yes, don't expect, I think even the most voracious reader isn't going to love every book that they need to read.
No.
So that's a great point. So if you're trying to encourage reading in your kids, make sure it's something they are excited about. I will also say, just from someone who kind of follows reading experts, comic books or graphic novels have become much more popular. And those, most reading experts will tell you, they are just as great as teaching reading. You just want your kids reading. So don't feel like that's not a real book. I feel like you've never really been into that or drawn to them.
Oh, in second grade, every week we went to the library, and I would like love those things. But it was because I didn't want to read big chapter books because I would have to return them the next week at the library.
Yep.
So I didn't have time to read them.
Yeah. But yeah, graphic novels can be just as good. So don't like turn down any chance at reading. And then I am going to have all of this in the links below. So I'm going to have a list of every book we talk about, so you can have that. And then I'm also going to put a few accounts that you can follow online that have been really helpful to me, that might be really helpful to you too, that recommend books and talk about getting your kids into reading. So, and one other thing, read aloud. That is a big way that we started. Obviously, when you were little and you couldn't read. But even now that she can read, there's a series we're going to talk about that we still read aloud because it's just fun. It's just part of our tradition. So reading aloud to your kids is really important too. And we do it at night. Like as a family, that's when we fit it in, is at night before bed. It's just always been a part of our bedtime routine, either reading to the kids when you were really young. And then now, like I said, we all do it together. All four of us grab a book and we'll read together before we go to bed. Yeah. All right. Should we jump into our recommendations?
Yes.
Okay. So here are the books. They're all chapter books. So that's kind of the age we're starting from, is 9-ish, 10-ish is what I would say.
Yeah. And most of them are actually, all of them except for one are like series.
Yep. So yeah. Fiona loves series. So most of these are series that you can continue to add to.
Yeah, I go through books so fast. I don't like singles because then I just have nothing to read after.
That's true. All right. So this is section 1. So this would be like introduction to chapter books, I would say, right?
Yeah.
They have a lot of friendships in them. It's like an introduction to social dynamics. So you'll find that in these, meaning how do friends talk to each other? How do friends go through hard conversations together? Those kind of things. There's some themes with separation from parents, finding their way home, because there's some animal books. So I would say it's an introduction to.
But it's definitely like an introduction to
Yeah.
like those themes. It's
Yep.
not serious at all.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty low key.
Okay. So yeah, I would say 9, 10-year-olds most likely. And these are the ones we started with.
Yeah, and
Would you
for
agree?
the very first one at the top, I'd say that's probably
The youngest.
7.
Okay, 7 or 8. So the first one is.
Never Girls. It has like 12 books in the series, but they're really small books. Probably they're pretty easy to go through. I read that a long time ago, very long time ago.
Yeah.
I don't even
So
know.
yeah, and like I said, I'm going to list all these below, but we have 5 for you in this first section. And the first one that Fiona says is probably the youngest one. It would be a great introduction, is called the Never Girls series.
Yeah, it's kind of like a companion to like Peter Pan and stuff, because it's got Tinkerbell and all her friends, but then it's got these 4 girls who live in the human world, and then they go to Neverland, and they have adventures there.
Yep.
It's kind of about that.
Yeah, I remember liking those a lot.
Yeah, it's not scary at all. It's just
about friendships and adventure and problem solving and those kind of things. Yeah, that's a great first one. All right, the next ones are The One and Only Ivan, and that has 2 books with it. I don't know if these are series necessarily, but they're
it's like
similar.
But it's got the same characters.
Okay.
And yeah,
but each one can be.
Yeah, you don't have to read the other ones to have read like one.
So The One and Only Ivan, The One and Only Bob, and The One and Only Family. And these are animals. So this would be great for anyone who really likes animals. Yes.
It's also got some humans in it too, but yeah, it's from the animals' perspective. Yeah.
Okay. Next is the Whatever After series. And these are a lot of books again too, right? Up to, I don't remember.
Oh yeah, this has a lot. I really enjoyed this series. If I don't have something to read, I'll still go back to these and read these. They're pretty easy read for me, but I like them.
Yep. Yeah. So Whatever After, which is a play on Happily Ever After, right? So it's kind of fairy tale, a play on fairy tales.
These 2 kids, they're siblings, and they have this magic mirror in their basement, and at midnight, they can go through it into different fairy tales, and they always end up changing the ending of a fairy tale for the better. I really enjoyed it. It's really fun.
Yeah. So that would be another great one. Next is Ever After High. And
I don't really remember this one that much.
Which is funny. I do, everybody. So I remember these because this was the first book that you said, Mom, I really want you to read this.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And so the first 3 I was familiar with. Either we had read aloud a little bit or I was with you at the library. This next one, I think, was recommended by your cousin, by my niece.
Oh, really?
So this was the first one I think recommended by her.
I don't remember this.
And because of that, I didn't read it, but I just trusted their recommendations wholly. And they were a little bit longer. And so we got the first one and you read it and you said, Mom, you have to read this book. And it was the first time you ever said that. So I said, I'm for sure going to. So you read the second one while I was reading the first one. And so this one, if I'm remembering it correctly, this is another kind of play on like Disney fairy tales. And so it's about the kids. Remember, like, isn't it about Cinderella's kids?
Yeah.
Alice in Wonderland's kids, and they go to Ever After High. It's their high school. And that is the theme of the books.
I'm pretty sure that like, I know some people when they think of high school, they think of like modern day high school. It could be bigger themes, but I don't think this is like it. I would say like they're the age of high school, but I think the themes are still elementary school.
Yes. But I 100% agree. Yeah. So we put this into section 1 because it's a little bit of an easier read than the ones we're going to get to next. It's a good introduction to chapter books, especially if your daughter likes that kind of idea of friendships and some magic and fantasy, but it's still about friends working together for problem solving things. There's some magic adventures in it. And Fiona's exactly right. It's not high school themes. It just happens to be a big school that they all go to. So I remember really liking those actually.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just going to go back to The One and Only Ivan real quick. And those ones, I think that's a great one to read with your family because I really like those ones. They're just good family read. And I think the whole family will enjoy it.
That's a great recommendation. Good idea. Thank you. And then the last one in section 1 are all the dog books by Bruce Cameron. So Bruce Cameron is an
he has
author.
so many. They're
And he
really
has so
good.
many, yes.
And they're about, from the dog's perspective, about the owner and about their whole life. And there's really good ones. There's one about like a service dog who helps. Yeah, I like them a lot.
Yeah. No, and I remember being sad when we had bought all of them finally. I thought, oh my gosh,
Oh,
we're
really?
done with these.
I think
When
there's a bunch.
Yeah, he probably has more now. But when you were still into them, I loved them for you so much
Oh,
that I
yeah.
was sad when we had gone through all of them.
Yeah, I don't think I have all of them. I
No.
think I read a bunch from the library.
Yep. And that's a good point. We do when it comes to reading. Like I said, we will buy books because we just believe in the value of books so much. Also, we read so much that we use the library a lot.
Yeah.
So we tend to buy things I know the kids will reread, or as a family we can read, or we can pass on. But if it is something like this that has so many books in a series, that then we'll get from the library and then we'll buy them if we really want them.
Yeah, I don't think we have as much time to go to the library as a family or anymore, but Mom will definitely go to the library and like bring back some books she thinks we will like.
Yep. And then also all of us, I would say, well, except me, tend to read mostly the actual physical copy of a book.
Yeah.
But Fiona does have a Kindle.
I don't use it as much.
No, you did for a little while and then
Yeah.
now not as much, but that's an option always. I have a Kindle and I talk about this in my own episode last week, so you can listen to that. But I just go through books so quickly that I get them from the library onto my Kindle. That's just what I tend to do. But if it's a book I fall in love with, I buy the hard copy and I will read it over and over, or I'll pass it on to Fiona. So we kind of do a combination of both. All right, so that was section 1. So now we are on to section 2, which for us we categorized as they start to get a little longer. So you need a bigger attention span. So the books themselves are longer. They're also either longer or bigger series, like a more complete story, I would say. Like some of the series in that first one we talked about were standalone books, like the dog books can all be standalone books. Now we're starting to get into more continuation series.
Yeah, in section 2, there is one that's a single, but we'll get to that.
And then this is an introduction to romantic relationships, Fiona told me. Like,
there's
crushes.
There's a few that's like, there's like boyfriend and girlfriend, but it's not like serious.
Yeah.
Like they just kind of like each other.
Okay. And then an introduction to mysteries. So we decided this is where it starts to get maybe a little scarier for the younger readers. This is what we're not letting our 8-year-old read yet.
I think he's on the verge of some of these. I think some of them he just won't like because they're like girls. But there's definitely a series I think he should start.
Okay.
That's really good. That I think can be for both.
Okay. So here's our list. This is, we have quite a few in this section. So the Emily Wind Snap series.
Yeah, so this is one Mom doesn't really know much about. I think you just never, I don't know. I don't really remember it that much, but it's about this girl who, whenever she touches water, she turns into a mermaid. And then people figure it out. It's a 6-book series, I think. But people figure it out and they send her family to some island. It's about her adventures. I remember liking it.
I do remember you really liking it.
Yeah.
And we feel like this would be a good first one in this section.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it would be a good introduction. I have to talk about this one for a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
I read Nancy Drew when I was a kid, as probably many of you did. I am talking about like the Bell Toll, all of those. When I was a kid, the original ones. So I do not know how we found this series, but we did, and it's called Nancy Drew Diaries. So it's important to understand it's different. It's written by the original author, but it's Nancy Drew Diaries, so it's written in modern times.
Yeah, and it's like you have shown me some of what used to be Nancy Drew, what she read. Definitely not as hardcore as that. And
no, it is not.
No.
Those are scary, but also, guys, those don't fit into modern times. When I go back and read those, they don't fit into modern times. So these do.
Yeah.
And they're a little bit shorter, but it still has Bess and George and Nancy and Ned is in it and her dad is in it. And go ahead.
Okay, sorry.
Go.
I would say definitely read the back of the book before you buy it, because depending on the age of your kid, there's a big range of these Nancy Drews. Some of them are a little bit scary. Like
there's a kidnapping in one.
Yeah, she gets knocked out in quite a few of them. But then there's another one. There's one that's not scary at all, just kind of mysterious. Yeah.
But each one has a theme. They're solving a mystery. It's old Nancy Drew that you like, but it's modern times. And somehow we started these. They release a new one every January still. I mean, there's 22, 23, and we have all of them because it's a family
I love
thing.
them so much.
Fiona's dad reads them out loud to her still.
We alternate.
Yes, you alternate.
I read them out loud too.
That's right. And she has gone back and reread these numerous times.
Oh yeah,
Fiona's a big rereader, which is great. But I just can't recommend these enough if you have a soft spot in your heart for Nancy Drew like I do, and you want to pass that on to your daughter, but in a modern way that they will enjoy. I just love them. Nancy Drew Diaries is what it's called.
If your child really likes mystery, but is probably at a younger age, I think this is definitely a must read.
Yes.
Really good. And there's so many of them.
Yeah.
So you can just keep going. I
We
really
love
like
them.
Yeah.
Next is Fairy Tale Reform School. And this was another one that came as a recommendation from my sister-in-law. She had Elise had read them first. Yeah.
Oh, and I don't remember this one also.
I put it on the list because they're still on her shelf, and I specifically remember you loving them, and there's 4 of them.
Yeah, I think
we won't get into the theme of them, but I think it's very similar to Ever After High. It's again kind of high school and magic and kids who are solving mysteries and saving the day. And so it's called Fairy Tale Reform School.
Yeah, and I think in the section 1 and 2, the main characters tend to be ages 13 and under, and then as we get to section 3 and 4, the main characters tend to be 13 and over in age.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think that is a really defining characteristic of what section we put them in.
Except for Nancy Drew Diaries.
Oh yeah,
she's
forgot
20. I don't know how old she is.
I think she's 18.
18.
I don't know.
All right,
but yeah, that one's really chill. I like Nancy Drew.
The next one is The Secret Zoo.
Oh my gosh. I don't know, I clapped. I cannot praise the series enough. I love it so much. And I definitely think it's a great one for boys too. I'm definitely going to have my brother read it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he can't wait to read this one.
Yeah, it's so good. It's, I don't know. It's really good.
Yeah.
So definitely read it.
Definitely
read it. So good.
And what about Land of Stories? That's next.
Oh, that's another one. Definitely read it.
Yes.
And I would say that one's for both genders too.
Agreed. Yeah. There's some people I follow online with young boys, and they're doing a read aloud of this as a family, and the boys love it. So I agree. I think Secret Zoo, Land of Stories, and actually this next one we're going to say, these next couple are all very gender neutral, I think.
Definitely.
Okay, so we've got The Secret Zoo, Land of Stories. Next is
The Mysterious Benedicts. I really liked it a lot. I read it probably 2 years ago, although I definitely could have read it before then. I think I had some friends who read it in 3rd grade. It's not very scary. I don't think it's scary at all.
I will say as a mom, it's a bigger book. I think 3rd grade attention span would be a tough one.
It is
it's just
bigger. But I don't think it has adult themes or anything. It's for people who like puzzles and mysteries, because the whole point of it, they have to figure out a bunch of stuff. It's riddles and puzzles and mysteries. I like it a lot. It's good.
And then Book Scavenger series.
Oh, that's another one like that. Riddle. I would say that's even more like riddles, and that's
yeah. So as opposed to these don't have the fantasy component so much or the fairy tale component. These are definitely mysteries, problem solving, puzzles,
modern day. But
kids solving.
Kids.
So those would be great. Again, I'm going to have all these listed below, guys. I'll just have a link that takes you to where they're all listed.
You might notice that this audio sounds a little different, and that is because I am recording while traveling. And you know what I brought with me? My OneSkin moisturizer. So in the past, I have had to bring moisturizers and tonics and serums and all of the things. I am so glad that OneSkin has something where all of that is included in one. So I use the OS1 peptide and the moisturizer, and it is light enough and moisturizing enough that I can use it in the morning under makeup. I can use it at night as my nighttime moisturizer, and it has everything that I need for my aging skin. Born from over a decade of longevity research, OneSkin is helping you unlock your healthiest skin now and as you age. For a limited time, try OneSkin with 15% off using code MEETYOURBODY at oneskin.co/meetyourbody. That's 15% off oneskin.co with code MEETYOURBODY. After you purchase, they'll ask where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you.
Okay, so we have section 3. We only have 3 in this section. Section 3 is like a continuation of section 2. So again, starting to get like more involved in storyline, attention span. Definitely, this is where your child's mind is progressing too, that they can put together point A, point B, point C, that they can make assumptions about things. We call it more intense. Calling this section more
This
intense,
is
more emotionally
when-
intense.
Yeah, this is when people start to not just die of old age, they start to get killed. The characters start to get older.
Yep. Yes, that was
And-
Fiona's main thing. She's like, this is where people start to die. And so that is just really important to understand. And you'll probably understand when I'll just say Harry Potter is the first one in this section that we have. And I say that because
Yeah.
many of you have read it. So you might say, oh, yeah, I get it. Because Harry Potter, right? It takes a lot more attention span to read it.
Harry Potter, it also, having read the series, it also progresses through the series. So I feel like we could put like the first book of Harry Potter in section 2. But the 6th book of Harry Potter, I
Yes.
think, could almost go in section 4.
Very good point. Yeah, because this is what it's book 4 or 5 when Cedric dies, maybe
Yeah.
book 4. So that's when you say, oh. And I remember watching the movies because Fiona got through the books and we read aloud the first book to our son, 8 years old. So then we started watching the movies, which you're exactly right. We were fine for like the first 3. No, the Dementors came pretty quickly. We were fine for maybe the first movie with him. And then they got scary pretty quickly after that because the themes got more intense. Some kids started dying. The evil came along. So that's what we were kind of talking about with section 3 is some of those themes start coming, right?
But also, I think if your kid wants to read Harry Potter and they're 8 years old, I think give them the first book and then tell them to
Go
wait
from there. Yeah.
Go from there.
That's a great point. So Harry Potter we have. Next is School of Good and Evil.
Okay, so this is another one recommended by my cousin. I love this series so much.
Yeah, you do.
It's a 6-book series. You definitely have to read, it's not standalone. You got to read everything before it. But it's really good. It's about the School for Good and Evil.
Yeah.
So these 2 girls, they get taken to the School for Good and Evil, and it's all about that.
Yeah.
It's
So
really good.
So it's almost like what we talked about with Ever After High, but that was in section 1. I feel like this is now taking that into section 3. So
there's people die, people get killed. There's a lot of trickery,
manipulation.
And I remember reading this. It put me in some bad moods because I did not like what was going on. There's some characters that annoyed me. I did not like them, but then sometimes I did like them.
And that's a really good point because you, like Fiona, has a strong sense of kind of right and wrong, what people should do and what they shouldn't do. And your child might have that, but also just might have different, intrinsic values. And so there was a point for sure with you reading that you would come out of the chapter and have a hard time transitioning from that, like into real life and into our family life. And we just observed that and had a lot of talks about it. And that very much was happening around, I would say, 4th to 5th grade is if I'm remembering it correctly. So don't be surprised if you need to notice that, like how are they transitioning from the book into real life? And again, just talk to them about it. Maybe you need to read the book too. Maybe you need to take a break from the book.
Yeah.
Those kind of things. Would you agree?
Yeah, I feel like maybe if you finish a book and want to go, personally, if I finish a book in the series and there's another one, I just want to go right into it. But I feel like maybe take a break if it's
agreed.
If it's
take a break.
Making you annoyed.
Yes. Yep. So we have Harry Potter, School of Good and Evil, and then the Twisted Tales.
Oh, okay. So these are really good. These are standalone, but there's a bunch of them. And it's basically, all the Disney movies, all the Disney fairy tales, except they take them and they twist them. And not in a bad way, in a good way. It always ends in a happy ending. I don't know one that doesn't. But it's like on the covers, there's like a question. For the Frozen one, for example, it was, what if Anna and Elsa never knew each other? Or for Rapunzel, it was, what if Rapunzel's mom drank the potion from the wrong flower? Or it's, what if the evil queen poisoned the prince instead of Snow White? So it's just
a reimagining of
Yeah.
the famous fairy tales and Disney. These are all Disney, sorry. So a reimagining of all the famous Disney stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah. And this was another one that as a mom, I was so excited when we found them because I think it's so interesting. And there were so many, but they were standalone. So we could easily just buy one per, birthday or like one per trip we were going on or something that you really got into them.
Yeah.
And liked them a lot.
And one more thing about this section, I think this is where like romantic relationships start to expand from just crushes. It doesn't get like serious or anything, but
Good point.
like School of Good and Evil has got a lot of kings and queens and people fall in love by the sixth book and they get married. They don't do anything weird. But
Yes, but understanding long-term
Yeah.
relationships more. Yeah, good point. And then what that involves, conflict and decision-making and those kind of things.
Yeah.
All right, section 4.
This is my favorite section.
This is her favorite because this is where she is now. So this is what I would call young adult, but still not explicit, like I mentioned, can be in the sections in Barnes & Noble, but this is what I would call young adult. So we have romantic relationships with physical attraction, like that is written in some places. That, there's some kissing in some, or they just make this
It's not
tension
detailed
real.
though. It's
No.
not detailed.
Exactly. It's not detailed, but it's there.
Yeah.
There's some more manipulation, much more
A
killing.
lot more killing.
Because some of these are war. There's war going on during them. And that's what I have next. Adult themes of war, politics, marginalized groups. That is definitely brought in here. And I would call that oppression because these are a lot of them dystopian kind of societies. They're fictional, but it talks a lot about groups being oppressed. And that's what I would say for this section, right?
Yeah, these are my books.
These are her favorites
Yeah.
that she's read and reread and reread. And this is where, as a parent, I would say there is a lot of oversight. So I have read almost all of these. I think there's 2 series that I haven't.
Read. 3. There's 3 you haven't read.
The ones I haven't read, I have read about, I've gotten online. There's many places, and I'll put these links too. There's places you can go to see the age appropriateness. You can see of books. You can see the themes that are offered. Again, if I haven't read them, the teacher has recommended them. So that makes me feel better about them.
Or friends.
Or friends have recommended them, yeah.
Some of these I've just heard people talking about.
Right.
Okay, I don't want to read it.
Right. But then I will say I still go in and do my research. Just because a friend is reading it doesn't mean that I am going to be okay with it necessarily. And then most of them I've read. So either I have read first and I reread them with Fiona, or actually all of them. All the others, I think that's what happened. I read and then reread them with you. So that's a big one. You'll see some of these are ones from a while ago that I read and then I reread them with you. All right. So the first one actually is none of those recommendations, but this first one came from my dear friend Lauren of Book Huddle, and that's the Legend Born series.
So good. I think though you definitely have to have an understanding of what is going on in the book. There are some like confusing parts, but like it's a lot of magic stuff. People die, but it's really good. They have magical powers. There's relationships. So the age grouping is she's 16 years old and she goes to early college. So she's away from her parents. Oh, and her mom just died. So she's affected by that.
Yeah, Legend Born.
Oh, and
Lauren recommended it and you loved it.
The main character, she's Black, so she faces some racism. So that's another thing to just think about when you read the series.
And I'll say, I think this is an age that it was good for you to have, be reading about
understand
that. And to understand it. And that's what books do. They let us in to a place that we might not live. It exposes us to a different reality so we can have empathy and compassion for other people and what they're going through. And what's interesting about this is the one series, I think, of all of these that is not complete yet. So the next book, the fourth,
desperately waiting for the fourth one to come out.
Yes, we're desperately waiting.
So excited.
Yes. So yeah, that's something to know. But Legend Born, I would 1000% recommend. Yeah.
It's really good.
Okay. Next is the Selection series.
So this is one Mom has not read, but I got it from, this is the one that my ELA teacher recommended, and it's really good. It's like The Bachelorette in dystopian times and royal times, except it's not as cheesy and it's good. There's friendships. There's a prince, and it's called the selection because 60 girls go to the castle. They get chosen to go to the castle, and they can go back to home anytime they want. And the prince is really nice, so it's not like abuse or anything. There's nothing like that. And he has to choose one at the end. And he doesn't even have to choose.
Yeah.
So, but it's really good.
That's the thing.
And there's friendships, and there's it's good.
Yeah.
I recommend that one.
Yeah. No, Fiona was really into that when she was reading. And this one too, even though I didn't read it, I read about it. And then each night, pretty much, I'd say, what's going on in your book? What's happening? And if she would bring up anything that I felt like we needed to explore deeper, then we would. We'd talk about those kind of things and choosing. And the fact that you said nobody had to choose. And so that can be a part of it too. If you feel like, gosh, I don't have time to read every single thing my child reads, I understand. Do a little research or get your recommendations or even go off our recommendations, but make sure, even jump into the book. Read half a chapter. What do the words look like? Are they using words that feel appropriate to you? Is it something that you can talk to your child about? Are they willing to talk to you about it? Just those kind of things, I think, helped me understand what you were reading.
Yeah.
All right. Next, Hunger Games.
Oh my gosh. This is one of my favorite series ever, by far.
Yes. And
definitely top. And I've read a lot of series. So.
Yes. This was one Fiona started asking about in elementary school because, like we mentioned, your friends were watching the movies. I remember that. And both my husband and I said, oh, it's too early for these themes. I know what happens. I've read these books. I've watched the movies. I know what happens. But I kept telling her, yes, you can. At some point, you absolutely can. They're great books and I'll reread them with you at that time so we can talk through all of it. And then Dad ended up reading them, or at least the first one with us too, right? Or we just watched the movie with him.
He read
again.
The first 12 pages. And then he was like, no thanks, I've already watched the movie. So we watched the movie again.
But yes, we read all the books together first.
Those movies are so good. But definitely read the books before you watch the movies.
Yes.
Especially if your kid is younger than 11 years old.
Yes. Yes. And so, I would also recommend Hunger Games was our introduction to this. We keep saying dystopian society. If you're not sure what I mean by that, just get online and you can read. But these next few books, Hunger Games, Divergent, Red Queen, we're going to talk about. Those are all kind of that dystopian society idea. And Hunger Games was our introduction to it because, again, I had read it. It was a really strong female character. I knew there were lots of extra characters. And I knew you would respond well to it, but also you could then decide if that was a book genre that you liked or not.
Yes, I love it so much.
Yeah, she's reread it numerous times.
Mm-hmm.
So those are Hunger Games.
And then, also, once you read the Hunger Games, read The Sunrise on the Reaping. It's from Haymitch's perspective, who is basically Katniss's mentor, and it's when he was in the Hunger Games. Such a good book. It ends not happily, but it's really good to know, and it's a really good book.
Okay. But you would say read the 3 Hunger Games, or read the regular series first, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely, because you have to know the characters and know who he's talking about.
So I'm going to skip ahead in our list next and say Divergent, because that, once I knew you liked the Hunger Games, I think that was my next recommendation for you that we reread together.
Yeah.
Yeah, was the Divergent series.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is really good.
Yes, this is great. We don't recommend the movies whatsoever.
They're good. They're just not the same as the books.
They're very completely different than the books, and they didn't even finish the movies. So not only watch the movies because they didn't
read
even
the
film.
Books.
Yeah.
Yeah, read the books first, and then if you want to watch the movies, go ahead. But don't watch the movies because then you'll be so confused reading the books.
Yes, but the books are great.
Yeah.
And I had read those years ago and reread those with you too.
Yeah, we kind of just watched the Divergent movies to laugh about it.
Yes, the books are great. If you have a child who likes Hunger Games, I think Divergent, and I would say we've just that could be gender neutral also. I mean, it's from a strong female character perspective, but it has a lot. The main male character is really good as well.
Yeah, and I will say Hunger Games is definitely a step up from Divergent in death. But Divergent is a step up from Hunger Games in romantic relationships.
Very good point.
Katniss and Peeta, they don't really do anything. They're in love, but
they just get married at the end.
Yeah, and then but in Divergent, in the third book, there's
a couple kisses.
Well, a little bit more than that.
They don't talk about it. They allude to it, though. I'll say, just as a parent, that's the difference.
Yeah,
but yes, it's there. That's Divergent.
Yeah.
Yeah, we think Hunger Games, though, is the pinnacle of the best of those, right?
And
Yes.
also in Divergent, in their relationship, they have a lot of ups and downs. There's some parts where they don't trust each other.
Mhm.
So that's another thing. When I say I got annoyed with the book, I didn't like that they were disagreeing with each other. But yeah, it's a really good series.
Yep. Okay, next is Twilight.
Okay, I love this series so much.
And I have a lot to say about this series.
Yeah.
You go first, though.
I love Twilight so much. I will say if you're looking for a strong female character, don't read Twilight. But if you want like romance and vampires, read Twilight.
All right, so to me, and this is what I remember because I read it again years ago, as I'm sure many of you have, and I watched the movies years ago. I just remembered the sexual tension part of this. That's the part that I was the most hesitant about until I felt like Fiona was ready for that. And I feel like it was a birthday present. No, was it just Christmas this year? It was just recently. We're just talking in the last year. Yeah. That we decided, like my husband and I decided, okay, we're ready for this. Yes. And I will reread them with you to talk about the themes as they came up. And I feel like this, believe it or not, had the most parts of that where I was like, okay, we're all going to pause. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. Twilight had the most of it, but it was because of exactly what you said. It didn't have, well, I'll say this. I didn't remember when I read it years ago, I didn't remember all the parts of her not standing up for herself, or like when Jacob forced a kiss on her and she hit him for it. Thank goodness she hit him for it.
Yeah.
But then she ended up feeling bad about it.
And her dad, like she walks in and she tells her dad about it and he's like, good for you, Jacob. Like,
yeah.
What? You gotta stand up for your daughter.
So we had a big old talk about that. I'm like, no, we're stopping this book right now and we're going to talk. If any boy ever kisses you and you don't want it, no parent ever we had a big talk about it. And I will say, rereading it, it had much more of the romantic relationship piece than I remember. Like that's much more than the adventure even, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. Again, it depends on your child, but I would just say if you're remembering back and saying, oh, I love those movies, go ahead and read them. No, you're going to need to reread them with them or talk through it depending on the age. I mean, if we're talking 16 years old, it might be okay, but we had a lot to talk about with Twilight. But you loved them.
Mm-hmm. They're really good. And then there's also another one that's like a companion for that. It's called Midnight Sun, and it's the first book, but all of it is from Edward's perspective instead of Bella's. And I think I like that one better than the actual first one. I really liked it.
Yes.
Oh, really good.
You have reread almost all of these, or you will, I know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Next is The Summer I Turned Pretty.
Okay, so this is
the only other one I haven't read.
Dystopian?
Yeah.
At all. It's like modern day times.
No magic, no fantasy.
But I'm sure if you have a kid around my age, or maybe a little younger, definitely heard of this. They've probably watched the TV show. I haven't gotten there yet.
We haven't.
I've heard it's a little inappropriate. But I read the books, and I really like the books. It's pretty much just relationship stuff.
Yeah.
It's about, if you haven't heard of it, it's about this 16-year-old girl and their family friends with this other family who has two boys who are around her age, and it's about them, and it's all about that.
Yeah. Yep. And so I haven't read this, but no, we haven't watched the show. I approved the books. And I will say, and this is just probably some of it's you and what you like. So many of these others, we have gone back and forth and we've talked about it and we've learned more about it. This is one that I feel like you read and just kind of moved on from.
Yeah, it was good.
It didn't sit with you. It kind of was
I liked
surface read. All right. Last one on our list is the Red Queen series.
So good. It's so good. I just read it. I'm reading like a companion book of it right now. It's amazing. So definitely read it.
I'm going to give you now my context for it. So I read this 2 or 3 years ago, and it was one of my introductions to this whole fantasy genre. Again, you can go back and listen to my individual episode to learn more. But I read it at the same time I started reading like the ACOTAR series and Onyx Storm series.
What I've heard from those series, though, I think Red Queen's like more my age.
Yes. And so with me reading all of those, I started making a little list in my head of when it would be age appropriate. Those others, we're talking 18 years old. Okay, again, they're very explicit books. Red Queen, on the other hand, I knew would be more appropriate when you were ready for some of these same themes. And so I had read all of these and I had kind of told Fiona about them. So she was really excited. So it was just a month, not even a month ago, that I think we bought them for you. And so Fiona has the hard copies. Like I said, we purchased them and then I got them from the library at the same time so I could read them at the same time. And so we went through them again, but I knew what was coming. I knew what to expect. I was rereading them at the same time. And yes, I love them too.
Me too. They're really good.
Yeah. So take very similar, like take Hunger Games, but put it with magic.
Yeah.
But same idea that there's an oppressed society.
Yeah.
There's
there's like a rebellion that is happening
against the current government who oppresses people. It's that same idea.
There's a bunch of wars.
Yep. With magic, political intrigue, those kind of things. I would say one age group higher when it comes to relationships, probably. Right?
Yeah.
But still not explicit, you guys. They share a couple kisses and they allude to more, but they don't talk through more. The chapter ends and you move on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. That's our big list. You guys are amazing for still being here and listening. So again, I'm going to write all these down.
Can I give my favorites from each?
Yes. Fiona's going to give her favorites from each section.
Okay. From section 1, I would say for a family read, do One and Only Ivan, One and Only Bob, One and Only Family. Okay. Those are great. And then if you just want one that's really heartwarming, find one of the Bruce Cameron dog books. Those are really good. And then for section 2, definitely Secret Zoo. Please read that. It's so good. And then section 3, School of Good and Evil. Take your time with that though. But it's really good once you get through the whole thing. And section 4, Red Queen, definitely.
Which also saying,
and Hunger Games if you haven't read them.
Yeah, I was going to say Red Queen, you did just she's still in the middle of the companion book. So that is front and center. But yeah, through it all reading, I want to say maybe Legendborn, because I feel like that's a little bit different and an author definitely to support. And the Hunger Games are a really good entry point to this entire section. I would not. Red Queen is your favorite. But granted, you've read all these.
That's because I've read all the other ones first.
Yes, that would not be my gateway book into this section. It would probably be more Hunger Games or Legendborn, possibly, would be more of a gateway into it. All right. And then really quick, this is for boys. If you're thinking, oh my gosh, these are boys younger, I'll just give you my perspective because again, we have a boy who's going into 3rd grade, but he's read a lot his whole life. He reads at a higher grade level than 3rd grade, just to keep that in context. He loves mystery and adventure. He never cared about dogs or puppies or any of that stuff.
And I can help explain some of these because I've read a bunch of the things he read.
My favorite right now, just from one that I like to read with him, are the Narwhal and Jelly books. If you haven't read them, they're just funny. They're just funny and silly and fun. So Narwhal and Jelly.
They're pretty short books.
Yep. And then a great chapter book is Dragon Masters. And these are ones I learned about with him because Fiona wasn't. Well, you said you read some of them at school.
I read a bunch of them.
Yeah, but we didn't own them, so they must have been at school. I didn't know about them. But Dragon Masters is a great entry point chapter book for young kids, girls and boys. I highly recommend them. The Last Firehawk is in a similar vein. So if somebody really likes Dragon Masters, The Last Firehawk is going to be similar. And then the next one up is Wings of Fire. They are an entire series with graphic novels and reading novels. Both, we have them all because he loves them and he rereads them over and over and over and over again.
There's more killing in those though. I know there's
they're a
little
bit older.
Death.
Yeah, I agree. And then two more interesting ones. One is called The Underland Chronicles. And so that's for younger kids, but it's written by Suzanne Collins, who wrote The Hunger Games. So that's just an interesting one to check out. And then The Wild Robot, which
that is such a good book.
Yes, we're in love with that. And as a family, I love the Wild
Watch
Robot
the movie
series.
too. The movie's really good.
And then the last one that I've just been introduced to because our son is obsessed with soccer, it's called The Academy. And that I think is probably more 3rd, 4th grade. even into 5th grade reading level. So we're just kind of dipping our toes into it, but it's called The Academy, and it's a series of books about a boy getting into an elite school to try out for professional soccer. So I just thought that was cool, the theme of it. And those are our recommendations.
Yeah.
We gave you a lot. Thank you for listening. We obviously love books.
Yes.
And we love to talk about it. And yeah, just read. That's what I would say. Read, get your kids to read in whatever way, shape, or form you can. Make it fun, make it a family thing, talk about it. It just opens up a whole other universe to learn about and to discuss. And it gets other people excited too. I mean, I know Fiona has gotten her friends more excited to read. So thanks for being here.
Yeah.
And we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks so much for listening today. I would love it if you could take a moment to subscribe, rate, and review this podcast. It means a lot to us and it helps our content get out to more women who need it. You can find more of my resources at my website, jessicavalant.com, or find me on YouTube at Jessica Valant and Instagram at Jessica S. Valant.